Hey everybody, and welcome to the final round of the Idlewild Open presented by Dynamic Discs and the Natty. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're two hot geeks.
Honk.
We are going into this round with a three-way tie at the top. You could not ask for more. Paige Pierce, Paige Shue, Sarah Hokom, and Missy Gannon all playing really clean out here at this difficult wooded course. Look at those ratings too. Like Missy coming in with a 991. There's been a ton of almost 1,000 rated rounds out here. It's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you really pretty much have to shoot near 1,000 to be on the lead card at all at FEO events anymore. It's pretty cool to see the whole field elevate. And I mean, look at the scores from yesterday. Everyone hovering right around even, which I think is right around 960 rated golf.
And Missy and Owen and those people at 4 over, like anything could happen out here. Hole 1 is a par 4. It's 638 feet, probably the most open hole we have. There is OB on the left that kind of curls towards the basket, and this hill on the right can be dangerous. It's an elevated pin on a hill that can be pretty much a death putt that creates a lot of rollaways, and this big tree on the right can really catch a lot of your upshot discs if you're not careful.
First up for the FPO lead card, out of Caldwell, Idaho, representing team MVP, Sarah Hokom.
Sarah with perhaps the cleanest card I've ever seen out here yesterday. I want to say it was like 1 bogey and 1 birdie or something like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Queen of clean.
I hope that sticks.
I don't. That's terrible.
Like, right in the middle of the fairway, just like we'd guess.
Yeah, the mistake
also
that...
plus one out of Charlotte, North Carolina, throwing for Dynamic Disc, Paige Shue.
The mistake that tends to happen is turning it over, trying to get max distance, and ending up flipping your disc to the right. Not much wind today. It was pretty calm, pretty humid today. I'm sure this is a Ballista Pro. Smashed.
She trusts that disc so much. She's been throwing it for a long time, and she throws it on pretty much every open shot. She's gotten a lot of work with it, and you can tell she's very comfortable.
Next up, also at plus one out of Plano, Texas, representing Team Discraft and Grip EQ, Paige Pierce.
Paige coming off the win last weekend at Ledgestone, which included a very wooded course similar to this. She's looking really comfortable in the woods.
Doesn't hurt on hole 1. She gets to flex that big distance arm.
Wow.
Definitely an advantage in her disc golf game. Boom.
God, that's going to be so fun to throw at 450 feet.
Rounding out the lead card out of Beacon, New York, also representing Team Discraft and Grip EQ, Missy Gannon.
Missy brings some fine-tuned disc golf skills and also the best shirt game.
Yeah, her putting skills are on point. She's looking really confident. She's throwing this Thrasher super well. We'll see her throw this all day.
Oh, yeah.
So smooth. She got second place last weekend. I'm sure she's itching for another Pro Tour win. Hokom with her Photon, probably, we'll see if she goes left or right of that main tree there. Yeah, it makes more sense to go left and just let it hyzer back.
Pushing that out of bounds on the left-hand side, definitely a nervy shot. She gets up there inside the circle.
It'd be interesting to see if she runs that. This looks pretty good. Just needs to sit down. Oh, nope.
Oh, no.
Yep, there's the roll, but she's inbounds.
Checks up just before the edge, but leaving her just outside the circle putt.
But it's uphill, so hers will be safer to run a little bit than Sarah's. Oh, Missy's so close.
I know, she crushed it too.
Hangs it wide, ends up in that tree where a lot of discs ends up. She'll have a low ceiling putt, but I think she'll have a chance.
We saw her yesterday hit one on Circle's edge from under that tree.
Paige with just a little simple putter upshot. So easy. she outside circle too?
I think so.
I thought she was a little bit closer.
I thought she was in the circle.
I think that was supposed to be a soft run, but she stays about 20 feet away. I'm sure she's fine with that.
Yeah, she's laughing at it too. That always feels dumb when you early release on elevated basket and you're like, well, we'll just watch that go left.
Oh, Missy's a little bit more pinched, not really able to give that a run.
Everyone loves a good layup from 28 feet.
Nothing better.
There we go.
So Paige immediately pulling ahead.
Coming out the gate in the final round with this wide open big distance hole. And we'll head into the first wooded hole. Hole 2 is 601 feet. The first shot is downhill with OB all the way down the left-hand side, just on the other side of the tree line. A lot of people will try to land in this flat zone and end up either in those bushes short, having to pitch up and before throwing over, but hopefully you get to throw over on your second shot, making the par a lot more attainable. Not a lot of birdies on this hole in days prior, but we will see what happens. It's definitely within reach with 2 good 300-foot drives. There is out of bounds on the left-hand side next to the pin as well on that steeply sloping green, and it does come into play for rollaways. You really want to meter your disc angle.
Paige using her passion, which seems to be her go-to disc in the woods. Oh man, it had the right angle, but was just a little too wide.
So many things.
I think it's safe. But most likely that'll be just a pitch up and a play for par.
Today this played as the most difficult hole on the course. Can't wait to see how the lead card attacks it.
Sarah with a trace, a sidearm is definitely the play if you have it.
Oh yeah.
She's a little on the right. The footing can be difficult there on the hill and there's some roots, but I think she'll be able to go over on her second.
It's crazy how that tree is like a magnet for disc. Forehand, backhand, it doesn't matter. They land on that tree on the slope.
Yeah.
That tree on the slope, regardless of skill level. Oh yeah, that's looking great. Getting the flex.
Oh, way up there. Beautiful.
Is he hoping to miss that tree? Oh.
Maybe forward.
Again to that tree. The vortex.
Yeah, it's really easy to hit that one tree in the middle, the one everyone's trying to beat, and then get sucked over to the right.
Paige looking like she's going for a layup here.
This might be a little to the right, like more than you want, but should be fine.
It almost looked like she was trying to get it to go further to the right. Maybe there's a line over there she likes more.
Yeah, there's a bush in the way, and you kind of have to pick left or right side, so I guess she must like right.
Missy going for it.
Come on. Yeah,
All right.
and that makes the par really easy.
That's such a scary shot over that bush.
It's risky, but I think it's worth the reward if you get over there.
Sarah with decent footing, but with the uphill run up, making it super easy to mess up on your angle of release on the disc, but she meters it just fine. She'll be right around circle 2's edge.
Yet another steeply sloping green. Creates a lot of rollaways if you're too aggressive. Paige turns this one a bit too much. She's about 75 feet.
On a very scary approach.
Yeah, it's hard to get it to land flat and not roll away.
Paige for her third shot, trying to get all the way to the green to save her par.
That looks beautiful. Yeah. Missy with a tricky little upshot here. Yeah, leaves it just a little short. It's easy to get timid when approaching this basket.
I love this placement of Sarah's second shot. I think it makes it a lot less intimidating to get on the hill. You can see everything. You can see the angle of the hill. She's parked.
Yeah, especially with the forehand to kind of combat the angle of the hill and land nicely.
No nonsense par. Feels real good on this hole.
Were there any birdies today?
No birdies. And not surprising to me. Nice par save from Missy. She hit a similar putt to that yesterday. Super death putt downhill. Looking very confident, finding the center of the chains. So close to the par save. So easy to get got by this hole if your drive is just a teeny bit off.
Yeah, one of the rare misses from Paige. She's usually really comfortable at Circle's Edge.
Yeah, only 30% of the field even with a par. So this hole played tough on the FPO field.
We're back to that three-way tie.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of lead changes this final round. Conditions are calm. Everyone is able to be aggressive.
Hole 3 is a difficult par 3, 407 feet, low ceiling with a right to left sloping green, OB Creek down here, which is right where a lot of discs land. And then you're often left with a difficult par save putt. Sarah's been kind of using the bailout zone on the right and just going for par, and this looks like the same play. Just knowing that even if you get all the way down there, birdie isn't guaranteed.
Downhill 400 feet, it's so hard to not be aggressive and just rip it for the screen. But
Yeah.
The more I played this hole, the more I realized that I think the smart play is what Sarah's doing.
Yeah, but it's not the fun play.
It is not the fun play. This is the type of hole you just want to empty your bag on.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned there is OB all on the left side, so most of the time you're going to see players, if they error, go to the right because it's at least safe.
This is another hole where the discs are landing on the downsloping hill, so it's easy to get a cut roll if you don't land your disc softly. Missy's getting a little bit of a cut roll, but not enough to go all the way to the left of the fairway where there's danger.
Let's see if Paige can correct our other two backhands were a little overturned. That looks great. Just needs to get past the creek.
Little low.
In the creek.
Oh.
Man, I feel like we've seen that so many times this weekend. Missy going with a backhand, which can be tricky. I feel like it calls for a forehand a little bit more. But she's right there.
Paige opting for the sidearm approach, even with her really awesome jump putt backhand. This approach is so steep. I don't know if you can tell on the camera angle, but it's so sharply downhill, and it makes your disc come in so fast, even if you throw it so slow. The ground is pretty hard packed too, so you can get a lot of action on the disc. Sarah does a great job of landing it super softly. It's very hard to do.
Great par save. Let's see that one more time on a GK replay. Good correction from the last hole.
And she's dialed in on the putt. 2 birdies on the day today. Katrina Allen and Haley King getting aggressive and getting rewarded.
Couple of good pars. I guess they were all good pars. Actually.
Par is good.
Uh-huh.
And we'll work our way to hole 4, another wide open hole. Not much wind to worry about today. There is the out of bounds sidewalk on the right, the water on the left hand side, and this slope is super dangerous. There's an aggressive backhand route where you can try to get your disc to grab on the green, but it's kind of skippy, and if you don't land softly enough, it can definitely find the water. We'll see Sarah throw a more aggressive sidearm that pushes towards the water out of bounds and then filters back to the right. I love this play.
She's landed pretty close to the circle a couple times as well.
I got to watch Ellen Woodboom do it today, or today as well. Super fun line to hit. Everyone else will see probably throw their backhand drive a little bit higher at the tree near the sidewalk and let it filter down the hill.
Yeah, this grass is pretty grabby, so unless you hit this just right, it's really hard to skip down the hill. Hopefully this skips off the path and gets in bounds.
Looks like it does, but a lot of lives on the line there.
Good reaction time from the gallery.
This road on the right-hand side of the tee pad has to be one of the most active roads in any park anywhere. So many cars.
Wow, great shot. She's right on circle's edge. More of a low linear line than you see from a lot of people. This also looks good. It just needs to fade.
Really
and the
straight
grass
flight.
grabs it.
Yeah, really straight flight from that disc.
And stop. Stop. Stop it.
It's almost like you want to land it like short and right of the basket, but then you know if it grabs, you're like, oh, dang it, I left myself a death putt.
This is one where you almost want to hit the base of the pin just so it stops you.
Sarah's so good at those up and downs from uphill. She's so good at getting it to land soft.
It was farther than I thought it was. I got scared. I thought there was a branch.
Making excuses for not running a downhill 50-footer at OB. Missy able to straddle out and give herself more of a sideways look at it, not having to worry about the water.
Yeah, count it.
That's a great birdie.
Gets herself to one stroke off the lead.
One of only 4 birdies on the day.
This was one of the loudest galleries I've
was.
ever heard.
It
Like, they
was.
erupted into cheers constantly. It was cool, but like either some really cool stuff was happening or they were very easily impressed.
I think they were just extra psyched. I mean, even when people would mess up, they would be like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. If you didn't watch the MPO coverage, though, it was
Very exciting.
exciting. Lead card and chase card, all super tight scores.
Speaking of, let's check out the leaderboard and FPO. And it's the same thing. I mean, everyone's kind of wrapped up in the top 4, and then the battle and the chase card and the third card are wrapped up as well. And I mean, anyone can take a big number on any hole, so all of these people are within striking distance of the top 4 spots.
Especially Katrina, she's 2 down right now. Hot round so far. Hole 5 is kind of a tweener par 3, 426 feet. You're trying to throw past this large tree in the middle. You can go left side or right side. That creek is OB all along the left and before the basket that wraps around behind it, so it's almost an islandish green. You can get down there for a putt with the most perfect drive. We saw Missy and Paige do it yesterday. But most of us are just really happy with the 3. Missy plays right side of the tree, and she's been just lacing this.
She's got it dialed. If she didn't catch that tree, I mean, she's on the edge of the circle.
I mean, she's still got to look.
I think this hole is pretty challenging for a sidearm to get way down there. You have to push the OB super hard if you want to give yourself as good of a look as Missy, but Sarah seems okay with getting just past that big tree and giving herself a little pitch up.
Yeah, some of those pitch ups can be pretty difficult. The trees often leave pretty small gaps, and the green is also pretty small.
Paige taking a little bit more of an aggressive route with a more overstable disc, getting it to flex. Thank goodness hits that tree. It could have skipped out of bounds.
I think it would have been okay, but regardless, she's in a good spot.
Right side's definitely better than left side, but it does increase your chances of cut rolling with an aggressive Anheuser angle.
This looks like it's turning really well.
Oh, yeah.
For a second, I thought it was turning too much, but that was beautiful.
She's far enough down there where she doesn't really have to worry about going out of bounds deep if she runs her putt, because that green is pretty narrow.
This is a really common play. She was just trying to pitch up short of the little moat and give herself a little bit longer putt for her par, but that, like you said, that left side is pretty tough. Paige didn't have a very big gap.
Almost skips across. She did this so perfectly yesterday, but it's really hard to throw a very angled hyzer to the screen with the moat that close.
Oh no. Paige hits a tree and goes out of bounds. Also, if you give it too much power, it's really easy to the felt or astroturf or whatever that mini golf green is. It really makes the disc skip, and it's possible to skip over the logs and go long. Paige will have to settle for the par.
Missy with the CTP on the hole for the second day in a row, I believe.
Yeah, we've seen her close for the birdie. I really want to see that. Do it, Missy. For the fans. It's a good layup. This is for a bogey save. Unfazed by the cheers.
She is used to it.
Great conversion.
What a great bogey save.
And a great run. I'd like to see the run across the bridge in slow motion.
Can we do a slow-mo bridge run? Looking super comfortable on the putting green. Oh, do we get it? Oh, dang it. We can just imagine it. Paige with about a 20-footer to save the par. No biggie. Only one birdie on the day. Again, Ashley Bowman doing some big stuff. Paige with the unfortunate double bogey.
I was literally going to say exactly that. We should have just kept going.
It's like we've done this a few times together. Missy tapping in her par.
The Combat Commander has enough space for all your discs here and everything else you need here. We beefed up the construction while keeping it lightweight and made sure there's ventilation so you can stay cool while waiting for your friends to throw because you just outdrove them. Or while you're looking for your disc in the OB. Either one.
the National Amateur Disc Golf Tour. Take your first step into competition or your final step into professionalism. Visit nadgt.com for more information.
Hole 6 is a 2-shot par 3. This first shot is pretty difficult to get out of here with your disc on the right angle. You want to avoid this tree on the left. It makes your approach a lot more difficult. On the right-hand side, it takes out a lot of the easy lines to the basket. It's good to finish more left, giving yourself the sidearm to this slightly sloping green. There is a sidewalk going through the middle of the fairway that is not out of bounds.
This is yet another 3.5 par hole. The only way to really get there for a close putt is to throw an aggressive roller. We're going to see all these ladies just throwing as far as they can on an Anheuser to the top of the hill.
I've seen Paige give herself around a 40 or 50 foot putt, going real big. There's not any trouble that she can get in that would give her an out-of-bounds stroke, so it's easy to go big here and feel comfortable doing it.
I mean, you can land in that ditch in the right and leave yourself a tough upshot, but it's still cool to see Paige go really aggressive with this Zeus on a flex line. Get way up there.
This played is the 4th most difficult hole, which is surprising.
I mean, no one's going to birdie it, really.
It looks like
So it's just going to be par and above.
Yeah, 63% of the field with a bogey or worse, so people struggled. I could see how that could happen. This green has a lot of guardian trees, leaving you with some tester putts if you hit one of those or leave your approach short. But even with not really much wind, we've had headwind on this hole the past couple of days, which I think is a very difficult wind on this type of tee shot, but we didn't really have any wind today. It's pretty friendly conditions.
I mean, you almost wanted the wind because it was so humid. It'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Sidearm is a really great play here. Usually it's good to push around all of those trees and skip to the pin. Challenging those trees is tough. You kind of just have to get lucky through them. Very small gaps. Little Paige with another forehand. She says, oh my gosh. Just 2 nose up and Heiser.
Obviously.
She's got a chance to save her par. A difficult chance. See, a little inside with this.
But it gets through everything. That does not happen often. There's so many trees right there. Paige, a little bit further out than she's been in days past. Forced to take the upshot.
Yeah.
Hits the line. Sarah with a really difficult Heiser putt. Oh my gosh, that was such a good bid. Paige
with a similar look.
I was going to say that. From now on, we'll be talking at the same time and saying the same thing.
It's going to get annoying.
But impressive. Missy with a great par after squeaking through all those guardian trees.
Paige with a solid par as well. So we see a little bit of half and half action, par, bogey. You can see how this hole can be difficult.
Sarah and Paige Shue falling a little bit back from the lead spot, but there's a lot of holes on this back nine that can get anybody.
Hole 7, is a par 4, 400 feet. You're trying to get through this initial gap and land on this hill. A little to the right is better because it opens up this very straight uphill shot to the pin. Birdie's definitely in play. There is OB short right if you kick off a tree. We haven't seen that too much. This is a new pin. The OB definitely comes into play more from the MPOT. Sidearm and backhand putter are probably the two most common choices. And that was a great shot. Paige with her Crystal Fierce. I think the hard thing with the putter is just letting it go straight. You kind of want it to go right, but you can't get too greedy because you'll end up pulling it.
Yeah, you do not want to go too straight on this hole. The closer you get to those trees deep, the harder your second shot is, and sometimes, most of the time, it takes the birdie completely out of the equation.
Paige hitting those roots, which is really common when you throw the putter, and it leaves for some difficult footing.
Wow.
And that's the prime time spot.
That's amazing. She'll have a straight shot to the pin, able to throw whatever way she chooses.
Ooh. It looks like that was a really aggressive play.
Yeah, was that a fairway driver?
I'm not sure what that was, but it looked like it was a driver of some sort.
Still with a pretty open shot, she's able to pitch out to the middle of the fairway and give herself an easy up and down to save the par.
And that was a good little correction on her forehand. We don't usually see a ton of forehands from Paige, but Idlewild will force you to do it.
You cannot get through this course without a sidearm.
Oh, wow. Got up there great. It's so hard to get the right power when you're throwing over the hill and to get the nose angle correct. So
And you're like with the uphill run up too, so it's just all the factors combined. It's very difficult to get the power behind it.
Missy with a nice window here. Wow. That was awesome. She parks it with her Big Z Mantis. This is one of the best drives I've seen on this hole.
Mm-hmm.
Still a tough upshot, but maximizes the space.
Able to just throw a simple standstill, looking really comfortable.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Squeaks by that tree, and that'll be a good par save for Paige.
.30% of the field with a birdie, but we have 3 of our lead card ladies with putts.
30% is pretty high for this hole.
Mm-hmm.
People starting to figure it out, I guess.
Missy grabs a stroke on Paige, and they will now be tied at the lead. Paige saving her par after that kind of crazy tee shot, and Hokom with the tap in birdie.
Yeah, just one stroke off the lead. Lots of changes already.
Hole 8 is one of my favorite holes on the course. It's a par 5. This tee shot, you can throw a backhand hyzer that you hope to carry deep, or you can throw a forehand flex shot. I like the forehand flex play. It gets you a little bit further down the fairway, setting you up for getting your second shot right into this gap. The further in, the better, but even if you're short of it, it allows you to have a fairly straightforward forehand hyzer shot to this sloping green. You want to meter your angle of landing, though, because if you skip into that stuff deep, it makes your putt very difficult. There is a little bit out of bounds on the left-hand side that only comes into play in your first and second shot, but we don't see very many people dealing with that.
This is that same Big Z Mantis she just threw on her last upshot. Almost had it. It is narrow over there.
Jail.
You can tiny little stick trees.
Yeah, you can find a line, but it's going to be a skinny line.
Hokom with her relay, throwing the flex. Ooh.
She pushes a little deeper than you want, doesn't quite get the turn. But she's far enough into that tree jail where she'll be able to pitch out fairly easily and get to the gap.
Yeah, she'll have, one gap to hit instead of 3 tiny gaps to hit in a row. Like Missy might have to do.
Paige opting for the backhand route. Hits it perfectly.
Yeah, beautiful.
She'll be hugged up against a tree, but very easily able to get to that gap to set up for the birdie.
Paige with one of her judges. Well done. Also a little on the side. Might have to throw another sidearm, but not too much difficulty. Missy choosing to go patent pending to try to go around the tiny trees and just pitches up.
Hopefully from there she'll be able to get pretty aggressive on her third shot and get into the gap. Ugh.
She still has a chance to save her par because the distance is so short, but she'll have to throw some excellent shots.
Like we thought, Sarah has one gap to hit. Has to really work the angle of the disc to get it to carry deep enough. But she's far enough down where she can definitely reach the green.
Yeah, birdie's definitely in play. Paige with a pretty open look. She's a little tight to that tree. She's center cut.
She'll have to throw a flex shot instead of a straight up hyzer. But that is definitely in her bag.
Paige going aggressive here. Ballista Pro. The distance isn't the problem. Like, she can definitely throw it far enough to get to the green, but the angle's so technical. And now this will be a miraculous par save.
Yeah, it would take a pretty technical sidearm to carry that far down that narrow fairway.
Missy with the angle to throw a backhand. I think she's just being conservative and getting her par, not trying to get too crazy.
Yeah, she's trusting that she will be able to get up and down regardless of how far down that fairway she gets. That's a pretty cool feeling.
Oh, terrible kick. It sucks over there. I
it
think
kick
she's
back
on
out?
the edge, actually, yeah. So she'll be fine. But I think a really common mistake that Paige seems to be making is you end up trying so hard to hit the gap with power that you end up holding on to the disc and having a bit of a late release.
Yeah, sort of an overcommitment. Paige lining up that flex sidearm to try to get her birdie.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
I believe that's her stalker.
Paige forced to do another step out sidearm. Yep, finds the green. She'll
Yes.
be a little bit tucked back in the shul, but not bad.
Great little upshot. Sarah near the bees. That's what that flagging is for. Also a good little touch-up shot.
I think I'm going to watch touch upshot reels of Sarah Hokom before my next tournament.
Just absorb the skills. I think that was for her bogey.
That was such a good bid from there.
Yeah, it bounced all over. I think she had a pretty low ceiling.
I don't know how that didn't stick.
Really solid par from Missy. Not getting off the tee perfectly and just playing smart, not trying to get too aggressive.
Another hole that the FPO field seems to be figuring out, with 30% of the field getting a birdie
Oh, wow.
or better.
That's higher than I would have guessed.
There was one eagle this weekend as well. Haley King found the 3.
Man, I would have liked to see that.
Me too. I wonder how long the putt was.
Paige with just a nice tap and birdie to put herself back in the lead. And Paige taking another double bogey, really falling off the pace here. wrapping it up with hole 9, a nice short 258-foot par 3. Really good sidearm play here. It does slope downhill, so the backhand often just filters too far past the basket. So again, backhand putter, very common. Sidearm, a little bit safer.
If you throw something too overstable with the sidearm, it is easy to skip deep downhill or in the shul on the right-hand side of the
A lot of
green.
times it leaves you a putt, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige, wow, 2 days in a row catches this tree. Oh, no. Today's a little meaner, and it rolls. But she still has a nice putt for birdie.
I wonder if she's playing that like a backboard.
Just hit the tree on
I
purpose.
mean, it's a thick enough
could
tree
be.
that you could.
This is a meteor.
Pick off it and then.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
That was insane. That would be such a cool ace. Yes.
Missy just absolutely dialed in on the course right now. She's so fun to watch.
I mean, this was going way past the basket.
It was. It was.
But look at this.
Tree love is an understatement. Oh.
I'm sure she'll take parked for the birdie. This is a crave. A little wide.
It's not bad over there, though.
Over 3.
That's a bummer on this hole. I know that when you can throw a sidearm, you feel like you should get this.
I mean, it's not easy, but
Definitely not. And the angle's a little off for most
it's just
sidearm.
very sharp. Oh, this is one of the... Man, I really liked it. I was going to say this is one of the better backhand angles that I've seen. It was just a little too tight. Man, Paige throwing more forehands than I've ever seen her throw.
Love to see her putting them in the rotation.
Going for it. Oh, do it. She really wanted to go 1 for 3.
Because I knew I was going to lay that up. It was just kind of a bad layup. Yes, it was. Was it? I mean, you almost made it. It was a good run.
I thought that was a soft bid.
Debating whether that was a run or not.
Paige going for it, but it's a little tangled up in the hands.
Yeah, leaving herself a tester for par.
She's been so accurate on the green all week. I definitely admire her still remaining confident. Even on these deathy greens where you can go way far past.
Nice birdie. Keeping the lead after the front 9. Missy's just going to be 1 stroke off. After this birdie. Oh yeah, that was a double because of the early. Boy.
Yeah, that adds up quickly. And that will wrap up our front 9 for
Look
the
at
final
Missy.
round. I know.
Just a super clean 3 down. Paige 2 down with 1 bogey. Sarah 1 over. And Paige just struggling out here. It happens. Can happen to anybody.
Yeah, this course has teeth, and I mean, it only requires you to be a little bit off to add a lot of strokes.
Let's check in, see how everybody else is doing. Katrina's staying strong, 4 down through 11. Haley King right behind her, 2 down through 11. And then Lisa Fakis, the only other one over par. Paige dropping down, still in the top 10, but we'll see if she can clean it up in the back 9.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us on the front 9 of the final round. We're really excited to see how things play out in the back. Thanks again to GK Pro for the awesome FPO footage. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.